Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another one of the Mount Vernon Township High School Board interviews with one of the candidates for the Mount Vernon Township High School Board of Education. The election takes place on April the 4th, and today I'm happy to visit with one of the candidates, and that's Kathy Asbery. Kathy, good to see you.
Hello.
Thanks for agreeing to participate in the interview.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start off by letting people at home know a little bit about yourself, your background, why you're motivated to run for a seat on the board, and why you believe you're qualified to run for the board.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm a parent. I have a master's in clinical psychology. I am a published author. I taught college classes. I was instrumental in starting assessment arenas for premature babies and developmentally delayed children. And I believe in a good quality public education. I'm a product of that. My husband is as well. My motivation to serve on the board comes in four parts, and those are our children. I feel like I'm kind of qualified maybe to serve because I've served on a lot of other community boards in town. I've been on the Amy Center, I've been on the YMCA, I have been on the 2020 Vision, and currently am part of the Women's Leadership Council and also on the Mount Vernon Township High School Foundation Board.
Okay. Well, one of the major concerns right now at Mount Vernon Township High School is teacher turnover and teacher morale. If you are elected to the board, how do you believe that you can impact this issue in a positive way?
If I'm elected, I would like to encourage open communication between the teachers, the teacher union, and board members and administration. I feel like also the board needs to be able to reflect on decisions that have been made on why teachers have left in the past. We've had a lot of teachers that have left in the last year and in various years. We need to find out why those teachers are leaving. Is it because that they got jobs that are closer to their homes, or is it the environment they're working in? Our teachers need to have confidence in their administration. They need to have the freedom to speak about problems that they're having, desires that they have, and they also need to remember the joy of what brought them to that calling of teaching our children.
Okay. Well, you kind of got into a little bit of my next question a little bit, because one of the things I was going to ask you next is, there are many people who would say that there is a lack of transparency or open communication with the public at Mount Vernon Township High School. So what do you think can be done to improve communication and transparency at the school?
Just that. Communicate and be honest. I also feel like there needs to be a sense of approachability. I am an open book in my regular life, and so I feel like serving on a board, you also need to be open and honest about that. There needs to be a way that the community knows how those decisions are made and not just be given a decision without knowing the background and the policies that were followed to come to that. So just being open and honest and communicating is really all that needs to be done.
Okay. Everyone wants their son or daughter to have a quality education. I think we all agree with that. And according to the report card for Mount Vernon Township High School that's released from the Illinois State Board of Education, the ACT test scores have been dropping. The graduation rate has been declining, and the dropout rate has been increasing. So what do you believe can and should be done to address these concerns at the high school?
This is a concern as a parent that is dear to my heart. I want my children, I'm very involved in their education, and I want them to be successful. I think that we need to look at all the data that is out there and available to us, and we need to take a close look and see, are we teaching all the information that needs to be taught? Are we just touching on subjects, and then when the kids come to the test that they don't have a concrete knowledge of that and they're unable to respond to questions that they're given? Are we expounding on the vocational opportunities that are available within the school system too? Because not all kids go to college. Some of them have vocational training as their dream, and those are their gifts to give back to the community. Are we offering that? Are we making classes, various classes available? Are we making them exciting? Are we making them easily obtainable? And are the kids learning from those things? So we think that we just need to take a look at what we're offering, what is being successful, and what we need to do to kind of fine-tune things.
Okay. Moving on to our next question, there has been much discussion about the cost of the new high school, as well as the ongoing spending that many consider to be somewhat wasteful. As a board member, if you are elected, how would you try to contain cost at the high school?
I understand there have been things bought without need, and we have wasted money. As a business owner in town, this is something that concerns me, because if there is something that is functioning well within our business, we don't want to cause additional expenditure by buying something that replaces it when what we have is still functioning. There's a cost of revenue with that if you do that. And so one of the things as a board member that I would like to do is to look closely at that budget, see where we're spending money, see what things that we have that we can use, and also see if there are things that we have purchased that may not be necessary anymore, if we can refurbish those for other uses.
Okay. Speaking of money, the school district is still spending a sizable amount of money to maintain the old campus. What do you think should be done with the old campus?
I think we should sell it. Every day that we keep it, it costs us money, and that is a financial burden. It is in good interest of the township to eliminate that from our plate.
Okay. In high school, the teachers, they give students a grade, a letter grade based upon their effort and their performance. If you were to give a letter grade to the current administration, what letter grade would you give them and why?
I would say a C. What's worked has worked well, but there is a disconnect between what has worked and what is not working. And I feel like this is that part where that transparency comes into play, that we as a community need to know what those issues are and what is being done to deal with them, and not be left in the dark.
Okay. With 1 year left on the contract of the current superintendent, you will be involved in the hiring of a new superintendent if you are elected to the school board. What are some of the traits, strengths, and characteristics that you would look for in a new superintendent?
I would look for someone with a lot of experience in budgeting, someone who can work with various personalities, a lot of different people. I would look for someone who lives in our community, who's invested in our community, who you run into at ball games, who you run into at Kroger, someone who is approachable, someone who is willing to listen to the concerns of the community and also the praises, because there are a lot of good things that are being done at our school as well. So I really would like to see someone also that is invested in our children and not numbers on a piece of paper.
Well, you actually answered my next question. I was going to ask you, do you believe that the new superintendent should live in the school district?
I do.
Okay. All right. Well, that's really, due to time constraints, that's really all the questions that I have for you, Kathy. But is there anything else that you would like to add or say to the public leading up to the election on April 4th?
Sure. I just want people to know that I'm invested. I'm invested in our school. I'm invested in our community. I am a parent with 2 kids that are currently at Mount Vernon, a junior and a freshman, and I have 2 more to come. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm committed to seeing my children and their peers be successful, not only within the walls of Mount Vernon High School, but outside them as well. And so I hope people will see that as a positive thing and will vote for me on April 4th.
Kathy, we thank you for your time and your participation in this interview.
Thank you.
Okay, and we encourage everyone to watch and listen to additional interviews with additional board candidates, and be sure to vote at the election on April 4th.